get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. So you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking After Dark, a podcast where we discuss random topics while having a few drinks. I'm your host, Darius, and as always, drink responsibly. And y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Tonight, I have a very special guest with me. She's back for a second time. Y'all probably seen her. If you follow her on social media, y'all know she's really out there on social media like that. I follow her. I get all the news from her because she knows what's going on around here. So I don't have to ask any questions. I know my ears are to the city through this woman, but I'm glad she's here with me. Welcome back again to the podcast, Miss Monica Meeks. How's it going?
How you doing, Darius? Thank you for having me a second time. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad you're back on. Tonight we're going to have some fun because, there's something that we got to talk about and everything like that. So, but how you been, though?
I have been doing well. I have a graduate from high school. He's headed off to Nashville State Community College, so don't have the pressure of a school-age parent now. I'm working on the struggles and stuff that comes with that, and having a grown person instead of a minor. So got to realize he's grown now. But I'm doing well. We're doing well in the Meeks household.
Are you going to miss those first day pics that everybody's been taking, the kids, getting on the bus or dropping them off at school?
Absolutely. I was feeling some kind of way, and one of my other girlfriends who also has a graduate from 2023 is like, hey, I need to see pictures. I need to see the teachers, what y'all look like today. I was having those withdrawals, and I saw the school bus go by, and I was like, oh, man, I feel some kind of way.
Well, they doing some new things with the schools today. So I just found out, now they got to scan when they get on the bus. So I'm like, hey, that's a good idea.
I saw that.
And I could track where the bus is. So it's kind of like, okay, I like this. This is really cool. Now I know my daughter's going to get to and from. Anything happens, I already know what's going on. I ain't got to call the school like, hey, where's this bus at?
Right.
Because last year, funny story, last year, first day of school, the bus did not even come into our neighborhood. It missed us. It said it came to our neighborhood, but it never actually came into the neighborhood. So I had to drive my daughter up to the school. I'm like, the bus didn't come to my neighborhood. What's going on? And they said, well, it came. I said, no, it didn't. Because we was out there for 30, 40 minutes and it still ain't came. So I had to take her, but they got it right soon after that. So it was all good. But this year, bus came on time.
Hey, that's a win.
It definitely is a win, especially we all know with the bus driver shortage that still going on. And, any way we can get them there, I'm cool as long as they're there and everything like that.
I saw the scanning and I saw some of the comments because we have parents that will just complain about any and everything. So I saw some of the parents concerned. They thought it was just their schools that were getting the scans, having the scan for the kids to get on the bus, and then other parents came in and was like, no, it's across the board. A lot of people that ride the bus are using the scan system, so it's all good.
Yeah, scanning for lunches, library books, and everything. I was like, hey, you know what? It's a good way to keep up with everything. I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
So I'm not mad about that. All right, so you know why you here.
I do.
So we got to talk about this. It's been on the front pages for the last 48 hours. But y'all don't know, we got to talk about the Montgomery Riverfront Riverboat, Riverfront, whatever. We got to talk about the brawl that happened in Montgomery, Alabama. All right.
The Molly Whopping.
Basically, that's what it is. All right. So the incident actually took place on Saturday, and then it actually went viral on Sunday. I saw the video, but I didn't think too much of it. Right. I was like, all right, I'm just going to scroll past it because I know it's going to, whatever. I didn't realize that people were talking about it. Maybe there's some details that I missed about the video. And I went back and I rewatched the video. I was like, oh, okay. I guess them dudes got what they, well, men and women got what they deserve. I ain't gonna say just the dudes, but they got what they deserve. Do you want to break down the video or should I break down the video? What happened?
Well, you can break it down. I've watched it 11 times. I'm still watching it. I'm getting, because there's different points of view. There's different footage going on. So the more you watch it, it's kind of like reading the Bible. You get something that you missed the first time because there's so much going on at one time. But so go ahead and break it down.
All right. So the Montgomery Riverfront Brawl took place on Saturday. What happened was that a security guard who was doing his job asked, group of people to move their boat because another boat needed to get in. Okay. But they didn't do that. So I guess it was some confrontation that took off. And these two guys who just so happened to be white guys start assaulting the black security guard. Now, you gotta remember, there's a whole bunch of black people watching, and it was a bunch more coming on the boat, right? And as soon as they seen that, they all start running to his aid. You saw a 16-year-old boy who jumped from the boat that was coming in and swam over there to the security guard's aid. And next thing you know, this big brawl happened. We seen punches. We seen people get thrown in the river. We seen chairs, which the market of white chairs done went up through the roof right now. We seen all that happen. And of course, there's more different angles and different cameras out there that's coming out there right now. My take in all of this is that, you mess around, you're going to find out, and that's what happened. Now, I don't know if these guys had a little too much to drink, but when the security guard is doing his job because they said, hey, you need to move your boat because, this other boat needs to come in and you don't want to do it. And then you want to get all confrontational and all of that. You start swinging and you think nobody else is going to run to the security guard's aid. You got the bystanders and his co-workers that was coming out there, to his aid. And I watched the video like you so many different times, and I asked myself, why? You didn't think they were going to come in and help him? I mean, you're outnumbered. Somebody with common sense should have said, no, we could just move the boat. No big deal, right? Now, we don't know what it said. I don't know what it said, but I know it was something bad to what makes, somebody throwing hands. And for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I had a smile on my face, even though I don't condone violence. But this one, I said, hey, y'all got what y'all deserve. I'm just gonna be real. You got what you deserve, and it ain't just black people talking about this. You also have the white people out there saying, y'all got what y'all deserve. I've seen the videos on TikTok and everything like that, and it seemed like everybody's on the same page. Now, you got a small group of people that's like, no, we're not on the same page. But for the vast majority, they are. So what is your take on the brawl that took place in Montgomery, Alabama?
Well, I think we have to be intentional about our joy. And right now, there is collective Black joy because of what happened. And there was a perfect storm because there's a racial element. People always say, you bring race into everything. This is not a racial issue. It is. Montgomery, the city of Montgomery in Alabama is 70% Black. The people that were on that boat were from Selma. So Google that on your own time. The history of Selma, John Lewis, Bloody Sunday, all of that. And if you've ever been to Selma, it's a very poverty-stricken area. I was heartbroken the first time I went. I was like, John Lewis did all that, and this is Selma? Like, I was expecting, you know, a lot more than what I saw. Even crossing the bridge, I was like, this is Selma? So there's history there. The fact that there was a Trump rally going on. When you have voting, I have friends that have votes, and there's normally drinking going on. So it was the perfect storm. It's a Saturday night. You know, you had the class of 1975, the people with the purple shirts on, celebrating. They did not look like they were graduates of the class of 1975. Black doesn't crack. But you just had the perfect storm, people watching this. And I'm so glad for it. Usually we just record. We don't come to the aid of a Black person that's in distress. So this was one time where there was unity. You saw people from the pier, and I was just in that area. My girlfriend is from Montgomery, but she lives in Prattville. In July, you know, we had a little reunion there. So you see people running to his aid. You see the young 16-year-old Aaron swimming to his aid. One thing that's getting missed, because I've seen it so many times, Darius, is his white colleague came to his aid.
It was the first one there.
Yes, his white colleague came to his aid, and they pushed him off. So it's just, alcohol gives us liquid courage. They triple team this man. He's an older man. We don't know what his financial situation is. I can tell you he's not being paid a lot to do security work on that pier. So for you to see this man, he's in a position of power. You've just come from a Trump rally. You know, you feel emboldened to treat people like it's 1965. And as Brother Jones would say, you effed around and you found out. Wrong day, wrong city, wrong time. Everything that's going on with Black people right now, with them trying to redact Black history, with them saying, you know, there are benefits of slavery, like we feel all that, like we internalize all that. So when you have that perfect storm brewing, and you have Black people who finally said enough is enough, because they would have killed him. They were trying to actually put him, for those that know combatives or martial arts, they were trying to choke him.
Yeah, they're trying to put him in a chokehold.
They were trying to put him in a chokehold. We know what happened with the white Marine that killed the homeless guy in New York. So just, it was so refreshing to see that we all knew that something had to be done, to see those men, to see those women come to his rescue was just, it's beautiful. And I was talking to a pastor, I won't name him, and I said, hey, do Black people use humor as a coping mechanism? And he was like, yes. Like, he didn't even go into this elaborate, like, you know, pastor answer. You know, they have the pastor answer, well, you know, God is good. And no, he just was straight up, Monica, yes. Mm-hmm. We use humor to cope with some of the trauma. And it's been very dramatic for us with what's going on, the climate of this country, Black people being attacked just for being Black, you know, them not seeing us or treating us as humans. So that was a long story to get to your answer, but it was a perfect storm. And I was happy that for once, I was glad people were filming, because that proved who started the fight. Mm-hmm. But I was glad that 100% were not filming. Some people were filming, and other people were like, I'm going to render aid to this man. Because I don't care how strong you are, it's hard when you're fighting 3 people at the same time.
Exactly. And I'm going to read this tweet from Mayor Reed. Tweet: last night, the Montgomery Police Department acted swiftly to detain several reckless individuals for attacking the man who was doing his job. Warrants have been signed and justice will be served. Now, before I go on with the tweet, I would say that I'm glad that they arrested these individuals. You know, again, like you said, everybody got their phones out to record everything. So you knew the beginning and you knew the end. And so I'm really happy about that. The tweet also goes on, this was an unfortunate incident which never should have occurred. As our police department investigates these intolerable actions, we should not become desensitized to violence of any kind in our community. Those who choose violence will be held accountable by our criminal courts criminal justice system. So that was the mayor, Stephen L. Reed. But yeah, I'm glad that, these individuals were detained because, of course, they were the aggressors. They started everything. I don't know if you actually, when you watched the video, excuse me, one of the videos, you heard the DJ in the background basically saying, recorded, pretty much let, the security do their job, but also give them the video, let them know, hey, they were the aggressors, right? And I heard that. I was like, hey, that's sound advice. So if anything was to happen to the other individuals, they know they were coming to the aid of this one security guard. So I was, how everything went down, I was just happy that, nobody seriously got hurt, for one. And, people will be brought to justice for their actions. And once again, like you said, alcohol just make you think like you're, and it's not just the alcohol, it's the alcohol mixed with the heat, because you're outside, you're drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, one, you're already not in your right mind because you're drinking, but also when that heat hits you, now it seems like you really done lost your mind. You think you could get away with anything, and you're not aware of your surroundings. And that's what happened. They weren't aware of their surroundings, and everybody was frustrated with them because they're just saying, hey, just move that boat.
Right.
Why are you arguing? Why you want to? We know this guy can't really beat all three of y'all. But that doesn't.
His own, though.
Yeah, he was holding his own. And like you said, his co-worker, the white guy, came, at least try to help out. He didn't do much, but he came to his defense. And, everybody appreciate them for that. But I start seeing guys swimming. I see guys running around. I'm surprised they didn't jump off and land on, a couple of them dudes, because I'm thinking, like, what would Spider-Man would do? Oh, he would jump off and land on these dudes. But then you saw them when they was on the boat and they went after them. And it's kind of like the common thing, right? When you see black guys, they got their shirts off, they pulling up their shorts and they skipping to you. At this point, just go. But you sit there, you want to still have a confrontation with these guys, and you still throwing and swinging. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know where this guy came from with the chair. Where he get it from?
I can't figure it out. I watched it and I can't figure out, like, if somebody from the boat, from the Harriet, that's the name of the boat. We'll talk about that. Handed it to him, but it's like, where did this white folding chair come from?
It came from somewhere, but I know he had it, and he was swinging like he was an old school wrestler from WCW or WWF. Look like Ahmed Johnson or Dwayne Johnson swinging that chair around and everything. Like, oh no, he wasn't gonna miss. I mean, hand-eye coordination was on point. And you see you see a couple of those guys, they're throwing them back in the river. I seen one guy, they had a video, one guy come up, he was a white guy. He was like, why you ain't going down there, help your people? I was like, I'm not in that.
I saw that.
He was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. He probably saw what happened. He probably saw what happened from the beginning too. So like, well, I'm jumping in there. I don't know them people.
There were Caucasian people on the boat as well. And if you listen to the commentary, I think the young lady that did the best job, Lauren, she was on the Breakfast Club this morning. They were all frustrated because they were like blowing him off. Like, he's like, move, because we got to get this boat, in the dock. Mm-hmm. And they just was like, who are you supposed to be? Who you talking to? And just leaving. So everybody that was on the Harriet, they were frustrated because they wanted to get off the boat, and then you have people lined up to get on a boat. So it was just a lot of chaos going on. But there are other people, not just black people were mad, but other people that were on that boat were like, hey, what are you doing? Move, because we need to put the boat there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I said, the reactions is pretty much, clean sweep across the board. It was this one, I saw it on TikTok early today. It's this woman who's from Alabama. I guess she go by Mama Tot. I don't know, but she has this real country accent, and I could tell she's from Alabama because the way she speak. And I swear to you not, she was basically like, what y'all expect was going to happen? And I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't expect that to happen either, because usually when something like that happens, we're just so quick to pull out a phone and like, and that's the one thing we always say when something like this happens. Why are you always so quick to pull out a phone and record? Why don't you go help? Well, some people have phones, some people want to go help. So it's that perfect mix. So now you got all those witnesses around there basically saying, hey, this is what happened. No, we got the proof to show you. And then you got others that came into his defense, and I don't know why they thought that was gonna win. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, at first, yeah.
They're from Selma.
I don't know. I guess when you leave well, what's that song that people was talking about lately? Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town.
Well, they tried it. It didn't.
Well, you weren't in the small. First off, you wasn't in the small town, so let's get that out the way.
Well, they said the people that were fighting were from Uniontown, which is a small town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they from there, but you was in Montgomery, so it's a whole different setting. So, yeah. I don't know what y'all thought. Y'all thought, like it's not about where you're from, it's about where you at right now. That's the in that song, I never heard the song. I don't really care too much for it, but in that part, you probably should have said, disclaimer, small town. We ain't talking about big cities. We're talking about small towns, rural towns. That's what we talking about. But hey.
Well, I would encourage people to listen to the song, because I was outraged, especially when you have our people defending the song. I grew up in a small town. We just got a Dollar General, population 400. It's divided, but we all get along. So we knew the dog whistle that Jason Aldean was given when he said, try that in a small town. He was very deliberate with where he picked to do that video. So, yeah. Uniontown might be small, but Montgomery is not. I have a few girlfriends that live in Montgomery. And, when I was asking them, because I didn't understand some of the language that they were using, like foot washing. And they said they don't play the radio. And I thought they was talking about a signal. I was like, is there satellite issues in Alabama? And then they had to explain to me, no, that means we don't play around in Alabama. We don't play the radio. Because I'm like, why don't y'all listen to the radio? Don't y'all have satellite? And they're like, no, that's not what it means. So just a whole different language. I was schooled. I thank God for Crystal and April and Nay and all those that were telling me about the Alabama language, because some of the stuff I was like, what does this mean? Like you said, it's a different language.
Hey, be real with you, Clarksville was a small town once, and as you can see, it ain't that anymore. So, hey, look, it's a song. Maybe I'll go back and listen to it.
Listen to it. Watch the video too.
I don't really care about videos. I guess I'll watch it.
Context though, because where they put the flag at, and I'm a retired soldier. So where they put there was a hanging in that, like everything is deliberate. You're doing a dog whistle. There is a historic landmarker, right? That's telling you what has happened there. So you're trying to flame bigotry flames. You're trying to embolden a crowd that does not really need any help with hatred and racism. It's not, well, I'm from a small town and I knew what he meant. No, those of us who know, we know what he meant, and it was not a good thing. I love small towns. I can go back home. My aunts, they don't even lock their doors that live in the small town. Salemburg, North Carolina, shout out to the home of the North Carolina Justice Academy. So I get that whole small town, but I know a dog whistle when I hear one. So they tried in the wrong town. Wrong town.
It definitely was the wrong town. And matter of fact, I'm looking this up right now. Let me see. Where's he from anyway?
They say he's from he's not even from a small town. They say he's from Macon, Georgia, and lives in a big town.
yeah. I hope he do. With the type of money he make, I hope he lives in a big town.
Right.
You don't want to be in no small town making that type of money. Let me see. It says he was born in Macon, Georgia. Let me see. He spent some time in Homestead, Florida. Attended Windsor Academy, a private Christian school in Bibb County, Georgia. Okay, I never heard of it. So I guess I don't know. I'm not from Georgia. I know Macon, Georgia. I don't know anything else outside of Macon and Augusta and Atlanta, Savannah. That's pretty much about it. That's all I know about Georgia. And some outskirts of Atlanta as well. So,
Yeah.
but that's yeah, I was looking that up real quick. Yeah, I mean, it's a song. I work at a store where I pretty much listen to country music. Well, I don't listen to it. It kind of listens to me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But even with the new country that's out there, it seems more popish now, more so than what it once was. And of course, old school versus new school, people are kind of there's a divide within the genre of music. So, and they're working with, I think they're more well-rounded in terms of who they're willing to work with. Work with rappers and other singers from other genres and things like that. You see more collaborations of that sort. So I think that's really cool too for music to have different genres of music come together and make some good music. So I kind of like that. But other than that, that I only know a few country artists, so don't get me go down the list in terms of country music and what songs they sing and anything. Even if I know them, I probably don't know what songs they sing anyway. So that's just me. But anyway, back to the brawls and what's going on in Alabama. Alabama has basically been in the front page, last few weeks. You had the Carly Russell situation, which I knew from the beginning someone right about that. That's just me. I'm one of those type of people, and this is for anybody who is watching or listening. When a story comes out, I get it. You need content for the day. But always leave that possibility open that, it could go left. And in this situation, it pretty much went left. And I kind of knew because when I first heard the story, they said there was a toddler on the side of the street on some interstate. And you mean to tell me nobody else saw that? Nobody called 911? And all of a sudden, she got kidnapped for picking up a toddler? I said, first off, you got to be an evil person to use a toddler to kidnap somebody. Secondly, there would have been more 911 calls saying, hey, there's a toddler on the side of the street, not just one. So I kind of knew something wasn't right about this. And even though she made it home safely, we all glad she made it home safely. But I knew from the back of my head, something ain't right about this. When it smells fishy, it usually is fishy.
Yeah, I was in Alabama and we were on our way to Birmingham because we were eating at, we had plans to eat at Papado's, which is in Birmingham. So my girlfriend was like, look at the cameras, Monica. So we were up there trying to dissect, like, why was she the only one that saw the child? And then the 911 dispatcher, she was excellent because when you go back and listen to it, she asked her initially, is it a girl or a boy? And Carly says, it's a boy. And then she goes back because we asked the same questions because if you're lying, eventually the lie is going to manifest. I'm an investigator. So they ask her a second time and she responds, I don't know. So how do you go from saying you know the gender of the child, and then when the dispatcher asks you a second time, I don't know?
Good question.
But I was pulling for her. I was like, Lord, I hope we find her. We just looking at my friend Naya's like, Monica, look at, I think it's the 459 on that, because that's the way you go to Atlanta from Montgomery is that road. It's a busy interstate. So you have cameras all over. And it's like, there's no footage of this child that she's saying, this toddler that's just there. And then the speed that she would be going, you wouldn't see a child until you've already because your speed, you wouldn't see the child until you've passed them. It's like, oh, wait, there's a child. So you didn't make a U-turn. You saying, oh, I see a child. Let me pull over. Like, come on, lady.
Yeah. And I just, again, I'm one of those people that keep my mouth shut. I wait a few days till the entire story comes out. And then I'll make my, I comment on it. But I ain't one of these people that's going to jump to conclusions right away. And I know a lot of people was jumping to conclusions and they were walking.
Because I was
There
trying to
was,
help Ponder. I was like, her story not really can't put this puzzle together, but I still was like, Lord, this black woman, somebody done kidnapped her. They trying to take her body parts. You know, I go into worst case scenario, like they're gonna try to steal her organs, her kidneys, and all this stuff. And then it was like, wait a minute.
yeah. And I remember you posted, I know a lot of other people was posting it too. So I'm like, let me dig into this story and see what's going on first. And then when I was reading it and I heard like what was going on, I was like, they really posting this? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, if she's suffering from serious mental illness and everything like that, you want her to be safe. That's my concern, is her safety, right? Because we don't want no harm done to her or anything like that she does to herself. But at the same time, actually, I was telling my wife this. I said, babe, something about this don't even sit right. And I don't really share a lot of things, really, outside of something I think is funny. But something that's serious, I like to dive into it first and get the information, do my own homework. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and, let everybody know what's what. So it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember this. This happened, I want to say, let's see, we in 2023. I want to say 2018-ish, somewhere around that time, 2018, 2019. A couple in Dixon County. Everybody was looking for their child. Child went missing. And then next thing you know, come to find out, the parents pretty much, the father, I guess, killed the child and dumped the child in a wooded area not too far from their mobile home. And they found it and they charged both of them, right? And everybody was looking for this child, as they should. But, they were saying pretty much the same thing. Like, somebody took the child, this, that. Come to find out, it was the father, and then the mother didn't really do much about it. So charged both of them. And I haven't really kept up with it ever since. I know their case is probably already over, but y'all could go look that up. That happened a few years ago. So, once again, PSA, please do your research first before y'all share anything, unless, it's something like this Brawl, because we all seen it. So it's not like we're not hearing it, but we're seeing it. That's one thing about it. Once you see it, you could comment on it. But once you just hear about it, sometimes you just want to be like, all right, I'll look into it. As you should. And there's a lot of people who have their own podcasts, their own platforms, who wants to, they need content. So they go by what's going on today. And I get it. But don't make any conclusions of what you think is going to happen until you get all the facts. So
we want to be the first one to post. And sometimes, in our urgency, I want to be the first to post. And the whole thing with Jussie Smollett, we were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna post this. And it was like, oh, black people are homophobic. And it's like, no, we know a lie when we hear one. So we ain't gonna post this.
Hey, I died laughing when I heard that story. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And I'm gonna be real with you. Charles Barkley is one of my favorite people on TV. And when he did a joke, it was, if you ever go back, you can actually look this up on YouTube. They were on TV, NBA, TNT, NBA, whatever, inside the NBA, all right? And Ernie Johnson put up a sticky note. He's like, what's two of these things that that's still living, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you don't believe or wouldn't happen. And Charles Barkley was like, two black guys beating the black guy up. And everybody knew where he was going with this. And he went on and said, this is what he said. He said, America, do not commit crimes with checks. Because he wrote a check. That was his first mistake. You don't write a check if you're going to commit a crime. And then he told him, he's like, man, if you had those type of issues, you could have went to Liam Nielsen's neighborhood. I was like, yo, it was funny though. Like, come on, man. Subway at 3:00 in the morning in Chicago.
And then they had MAGA hats. And anybody who's been to Chicago knows it's a huge city. and that would stand like if you have two people with MAGA hats on and they put a noose around your neck and nobody, it's like a city that never sleeps. So nobody saw them with the noose and the MAGA hats, just you. Like,
I just want to know what Subway is open at 3:00 in the morning. That's already now. If you would have said you was going to McDonald's, I get it. Drive through 24/7, I understand it. Or even if you're going to like a cookout somewhere, if they have a cookout somewhere, I get it. But I don't know a Subway that's open at 3:00 in the morning.
in bigger cities, they stay open longer. But I was just like, this math ain't mathing, Jesse. Jesse, something ain't right with your story.
No, it wasn't. And I get it. You know, you got a lot of people coming to his defense. But once again, if you actually took a step back and you listened to the story, someone will tell you what your ass doing walking the Subway at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
It ain't like you driving, you were walking. That's the thing that gets me.
In Chicago.
In that weather. In Chicago. I know how cold it is up there. I was in St. Louis for a couple of years, so I know how cold it gets. Matter of fact, I know how cold it gets here. I don't want to be outside in this, during the wintertime in this weather. So who does that?
Somebody that wants attention.
Yeah, I guess. And he got it.
The wrong kind. They said he was trying to negotiate a raise, but I'm like, brother, that's not how you negotiate a raise. There are other productive ways, but that's not a way. That's not how we get raises.
It so ain't. I mean, I get it. They say in entertainment, any publicity is good publicity, but I guess times have changed because they sure didn't mess with him after that. He was gone, and he was gone.
Right.
And
because don't get me wrong. In hate crimes, so for you to lie about one, like there's enough hate crimes that actually happen, and for you to waste the, Cook County, and they got all kind of issues that we can discuss another time, but it's like you wasted resources by lying.
Yep. And that's a good point. That's, we got some serious issues out here that's going on, and all of a sudden you want to make up a story and you wasting, taxpayer dollars on something like this. And my tax dollars could be going to something more useful.
To legitimate people that are missing or being, are victims of actual hate crimes. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah. So same thing with, the Carly Russell situation, just all these people, disappearing and all of that. And you make this story up.
And she hurt herself too, because, she's from a two-parent household. Not that kids from two-parent households don't have issues. You're driving a Mercedes, you're doing great and wonderful things.
Wait, she got a Mercedes?
Yes. And that was a classism issue too, like, because her neighbors were out advocating. They were doing prayer vigils for her. Yeah, she drives a Mercedes. She's not from a poor family. Yeah. That's got you feeling some kind of way, Darius.
Listen, maybe I didn't read the whole story through. I didn't realize she was driving a Benz. I did not realize. Now that makes me even more upset. You got all this money, you driving a Benz, you making up a story.
Well, if you look at her neighbors in the neighborhood that she grew up in, like it's a mixed neighborhood, and you had people like, I don't know what to do, but I can pray. So you had all these, prayer vigils. You had people out looking for her because there was a relationship there with her neighbors. So a lot of negative. She needs some mental health evaluation. I think they charged her with 2 misdemeanors. I was glad that she did obtain a lawyer for the situation, and he came out and immediately started apologizing, because if you don't have an attorney in the state of Alabama, and there could be all kind of issues there, but she was in a position to where they could afford an attorney, and he represented her well. So
Must be nice.
yeah, that's not everybody's story.
No, that's not everybody's story. I guess if you can afford to do the crime, I guess and a lot of people don't understand that doing crime costs money.
Yes, it does.
So costs money. So you know what I mean? Just yeah, now I'm sick to my stomach. You got a Benz out here.
Yeah.
You just got it, you got some advantages that some people don't have, and that just makes me sick to my stomach. Oh well, that just I'll get over it. I don't really care too much
Well,
about it
that's
at this
how we
point.
know that there's some mental health, and I'm not a psychologist, so I'll put that disclaimer out there. But you know that something is off balance with her for her to do that. Like, it wasn't well thought out. You're doing all kind of searches on your phone,
Like coming to Nashville.
taken, yeah, you're doing a whole lot of stuff. And the brain, I think she just turned 25. The
Yeah, and
brain
she
is not,
just
yeah,
graduated from college too.
yeah. I think that the Benz might have been a gift, but your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. So hopefully it's a learning lesson for her. And she has misdemeanors, so she's still able to hopefully get a job. I think she was fired from the job that she was at, but she definitely needs some prayer and some professional help for her to decide that, let me do this for some guy's attention. Like, come on, lady. You're educated. You check a lot of
Yeah.
boxes. Move on.
Well, speaking of that, people in the news, I know you heard about Lizzo and her situation, that she got going on. How do you feel about, the allegations against Lizzo by her former dancers, and, how do you feel about that?
Well, let me put this out there. I was a Lizzo fan when I would just go to her concert. She had a concert in Nashville at the War Memorial, and it was only like 3 Black people in the audience. So I've been a fan when she was, a lot of people weren't really standing for Lizzo. She's gotten a huge platform now. So I'm a Lizzo fan. And I know that I work in corporate America. We have to be extremely careful with developing friendships. I'm the only person of color, only Black person on my job. It's been that way for some time. We have to be careful with loosely using the word friend. And I think Lizzo thought that you're the employer. They work for you. So she crossed that line because she thought that people that she was paying were her friends, and they weren't. So, and there was sometimes with celebrities and sometimes with just people that are popular, there's a tendency not to tell them no, or kind of question like their behavior. Like, is that something you should be doing? That's not really professional for you to be going. And anybody who's been to Amsterdam knows the things that happen in Amsterdam. I had soldiers that used to always get in trouble going to Amsterdam. So they knew what they were signing up for. But when someone tells you, I don't feel comfortable, or I don't want to do this, like my contract says, okay, I get off at this time, and you say, well, no, okay, I finished paying you, but I want to hang out with you because I need friends that are my employees, then you've crossed the line. So hopefully it is a lesson learned that you got to keep business. You can't be preaching, and these are all allegations. You can't be preaching about body positivity and then shaming someone because they are overweight. If that's your whole image, is I'm, happy to be a big girl, plus size woman, and I'm going to empower, I want plus size women around me, and then you allegedly bully someone because of their size. One lady said she urinated on herself because she was so afraid of Lizzo. So I think eventually, just for spin control and damage control, and to get ahead of it, they'll probably settle, because it's more dancers that didn't file suit that are saying, oh yeah, that's why I quit, because it was a toxic work environment. I felt that I was, being manipulated to do things that I didn't feel comfortable doing, and I didn't want to say anything because I was being paid. So if she's smart, she will settle before more people come out and make them sign NDAs with those settlements. But it's heartbreaking because I'm a fan of Lizzo. I liked her when nobody else seemed to like her. I remember paying like $40 for a ticket, and I go back to try to get a ticket at the where's she at? What's the one that looks like the church downtown? The Ryman.
The Ryman, yeah.
I get I'm like, oh, she's priced me out, and I've been a day one fan. Those tickets was like $500, and I said, oh, never mind. I won't. Yeah.
At the Ryman?
Yes, because they sell them. People go and buy them. Like they don't. The Ryman doesn't sell them like that, but you have third party people that sell.
Oh, okay. Because I'm about to say, like, the last time I've been to the Ryman I was 19, and I saw Cat Williams live.
Oh wow! So you've missed a lot of good shows.
I was 19 and I saw Cat. That was actually, so that particular night, my mom was supposed to go with somebody else and they backed out. So I'm like home alone by myself, and it was actually close to my birthday. So my mom called me and she was like, you want to go see Cat Williams? I was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, get ready. I'm on my way. So that's how I went to go see Cat Williams at 19, which was that American Hustle, his second special that he did, which was really funny. All of them were funny anyway. But yeah, when it came out, I kind of already knew the set. So I was like, all right. Yeah. But I still laughed. But with Lizzo, you were right. You know, you got to separate business from personal. And I guess in a way maybe she was lonely. So she was paying for, friends and thinking that, they like the things that she like and stuff like that, not necessarily how it goes down. If you like to do that stuff, you could do that stuff on your own time. You don't have to drag your employers with you, because that's what they are. You pay them, they're your employers. So some of the allegations against her, we don't know. They could be true, they could be false, but by the end of the day, it's actually damaging your brand, and word gets around. If you're a performer, you're an entertainer like Lizzo, you got dances and everything like that, who's going to want to, work with you if they hearing about these allegations, that you have going on. So again, I think you're right. I think she is going to settle out of court, because I believe it might be, more people coming out. We already had a director come out saying that she quit a documentary because she was hard to work with. So it's, we know the story is going to continue on and everything like that. I said on my last episode, there's going to be more things coming out. When one come out, two come out, three come out, now that's going to open up the floodgates, and everybody's going to start feeling comfortable talking about their experiences working with her. So, but I think the one thing that was, like you said, the Amsterdam, that was one of those things where I'm like, why would you, for one, did you ask anybody else, do they want to go to this specific spot? And two, why would you have them do things that you probably wouldn't do when people are around, or you will do, but in private? So that's just my whole thing about it. And the fat shaming, let's just be honest. You're the last person to do that. You can't do that, especially at, your size. I mean, you were bullied. You were talking about how you were bullied, and you're going to allegedly bully somebody, that's working for you. I don't think that's cool at all. But by the end of the day, they said that she fired all of her, I guess, her staff. I guess they were all Black. So I guess she fired her staff. I don't know what she's going to do with this new staff, but your brand is taking a hit. And so you're just going to have to go through this dark cloud for a while and rebuild your brand in a way to where people could say, all right, we could see a whole different side of you. But at the same time, you haven't really came out. Your lawyer has really came out. And this is the same lawyer you hired that represented Chris Brown. Who else? Some other people who was specializing in these type of crises, other celebrities. So, the best thing for Lizzo to do right now is just come out, whether it's on your own platforms or go on some type type of talk show and just, either deny the allegations itself or, if you're going to sell it, go ahead and get it over with quick, fast, in a hurry. Like you said, before everybody else come to the forefront. So.
Well, she made a statement, but the statement I think was more damaging. She should just be, if I was advising her, I'd say, just be quiet until you can get this matter settled civilly and you can, ensure that these ladies sign an NDA. But sometimes victims of bullies, to get over that, they become bullies. So she just did not know that there was a very thin line, and there's just certain things that you cannot do with people that are on your payroll. And it's lonely at the top. Heavy is the head that wears a crown. I always say that to my friends that are in positions of power, like, you're going to be lonely up at the top. It's a pyramid. So the top, everybody don't make it to the top. So when you're at the top, it's lonely. But you gotta, where are your sisters? You have any sisters or cousins or somebody that you trust to have your back? Like, you can't trust, strangers or people that are on your staff. Because one lady said, "Oh, I can sing," and I told Lizzo that I could sing, and she spoke very, very highly of her. Because there's always a digital footprint of things that we've said, and there's one of Lizzo doing an interview where she's talking about things with a banana. It's like, my goodness, you were oversharing. And they're going to use that if it goes to trial. So you just have to be careful. And she just didn't have the right people in her ear telling her no.
That's the part that I don't like. You could tell when people really have your back if they're going to tell you straight up, they're going to tell you the truth. They don't care how you take it. They're going to be honest with you. But then you also, you might have this thing about you where you don't want to hear the no because you're so successful. You want people to agree with you and do what you say at all times, even though you might be wrong. You don't care. But that's why it's so important to have those people in your camp that's basically going to set you, straight at times to let you know, hey, you're going a little too far. Come on back. Come on back. We don't need all of that. Or we don't need to go there. If you and I want to hang out, we can hang out. If they're not comfortable, don't force them. By the end of the day, they're employers. You pay them to dance. That's it. They ain't got to be your buddies. They ain't got to do all these other things. They here to collect a check to make a living so they can take care of their responsibilities. So that's the way I see it. And not only that, but there was an allegation came out that she stole somebody's husband or something like that, or boyfriend.
Right.
So it's like, listen. First off, if she was able to steal him, that wasn't yours in the first place. So I don't know why you come out with something like that. And not only that, but she got money. So, of course, the dude going to run to her. Let's just be honest. If it was Oprah Winfrey and he had to choose between Oprah and you, he going to Oprah. So, I don't know what – nobody really cared about that allegation whatsoever. Because we all understand it's a money thing. So, that's the way I see it. But I hope she gets her affairs in order, man. I hope, this will pass her and everything, and she could continue on with her career because she is, to me, one of the few talented artists in the game right now. And, it's not, you can't really say that about too many artists that's out there. They might be hot for like a summer or, a year, but then they disappear. But, Lizzo, she is truly talented. And, we all hope that, this could soon pass by her and she could go back to doing what she do best.
Well, in the end of the day, Darius, as you know, you don't poop and eat at the same place. We use the vulgar word for poop in the military, but you don't. I used to tell people when they get promoted, you can't do what you was doing as a lower enlisted soldier. You can't party like you used to party and with the people you used to party with. You got to change. You're going to have to make some new friends. So hopefully Lizzo will make some new friends, have some women that are offering her some sage wisdom that she will follow. But I enjoy her. I like her journey. I like, how some of her earlier albums are the best albums that she has had. She grew up in the church. You can hear that spiritual connectedness that she has to the church in her earlier albums. But you got to do better.
Definitely got to do better. So before we get out of here, what's some of the things that you have going on right now?
Well, let me put a plug out for, and I'm not, put a disclaimer. All of that I said was me, find me. I'm not speaking on behalf of my employer or any organization that I'm affiliated with. Now, I will say that we are trying to recruit people to join the NAACP Clarksville branch. We had a meet and greet. We have some other things going on. We got Founders Day. We got the Freedom Fund banquet. So look into the NAACP. And what I tell people is you cannot, because I hear a lot of negative chatter until you get in trouble and you call us, but you can't fix any organization from the outside. You have to be a part of it if you want to change it. Because so people have no problems calling when Junebug is in jail. You know, I have had a couple of sessions where I have been to observe the juvenile courts in Montgomery County. So look into the NAACP, be the change that you want to see if you think it's time for change, but get active. It's too much going on. They are trying to whitewash our history. We have a school board rep, I won't say his name, that is trying to pull Toni Morrison's book off of the shelves, The Bluest Eye. Like, get involved, pay attention to local politics. They matter, they have consequences. It really irks my soul when I hear somebody say, well, I don't really get into politics. Whether you agree with the way I, view things or not, I want people that are able to vote, because we have brothers and sisters that are not able to vote because of previous charges. Get active. I'll challenge you, go to at least one city council meeting, go to at least one county commissioner meeting, go to a school board meeting. Stop letting people run uncontested races. We have some people that are doing some phenomenal work at the local level. We have sidewalks because of certain representatives. So politics matter. Get in the game. Don't be someone that just complains, but find yourself an organization to be a part of. The NAACP has been around since 1909. So no matter what negative things you hear about us, we are around. And Black Lives Matter, where are they? They are not. So it's not us versus them, but people that had all that mouth about the NAACP because they were a part of the organization, another organization. Well, your organization is no, I don't see you. Where are you? It's nowhere to be found. So when people get in trouble, they still run to the NAACP. So keep running to us. Think about joining and being part of the solution. We have a lot of things going on in the county, working on that. I'll just put a pin in that, but we're working on some things, but there's a lot of disparities. People that had issues with Director House and his salary, overdue raise. Now you're really quiet. You don't have anything to say about the new director of schools and her salary. You don't have anything to say about these other directors in county government and their salary. So what was your issue with Director House? Was it pigmentation? Was it his hue? Was it his hair texture? Like, why were you so vocal about the budget when a Black man was finally getting paid his worth? And now you have all these salary increases within the county and nobody has anything to say. So those are some things I'm working on, Darius. Thank you for asking, but think about joining the NAACP. Again, those comments before I gave the plug for NAACP was me, find me, not women veterans, not any of those things, not my employer, but those were all my opinions. So don't try to sue me.
And if they want to join the NAACP, how can they go about doing that?
We have a Facebook page, go to NAACP Clarksville branch, and there's a QR code that you can join. We have Cash App now, so you can pay through Cash App, and I'll post it on my page too. But think about joining, being part of the solution and not always complaining and tearing each other down and saying NAACP doesn't do anything. And it's like, well, what are you doing?
That's true. That is absolutely true. And the school board thing, I don't think people actually understand. School board members are elected officials.
Yes, they are.
So you got to remember that they are elected officials, and if you see it all across the country too, they're taking over the school board.
Yes, they are.
Pay attention to what's going on out there. Local elections do matter, so please vote. Local elections. Don't just vote for the presidential election. Vote locally as well. Because that really matters to you a lot. especially if you're gonna be a part of this city, things like that. Please get out there and you know, vote, 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 vote. I
And be an
know I'm
informed voter. Don't just vote. Be an informed voter, because we get, as a people, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I don't care. We get so focused on somebody having a D behind their name, or I will never vote for a Republican. And it's like some of the judges, one that was in there a very long time, I told people to vote for the other guy because he told me he sued Montgomery County, and I Googled it and he did, and he got it and he won. So it's not always about party. Like, pick the best candidate. When they're out there holding their signs, they're interviewing for a job. You need to go out there and ask them, where do you stand on this issue? They're trying to bring a baby jail here. Where do you stand on this juvenile detention resource center, whatever you're trying to call it? Where do you stand? Are you for it or are you against it? And why? Who's paying you? Who funded your campaign? Like, they are interviewing for a job. We let too many people run uncontested and we don't check them. I'll ask people, who's your school board rep? And it's like, oh, I don't have kids in school. Well, do you have a house? Yes. Well, your taxes are based off of the school budget. Your property taxes are based off of the school budget. So you need to know who your school board rep is.
And to add on to that, people don't know this. That's how they always rezoned every year. So unless you're like really like at a nearby school, you don't have to worry about it. But if you like in that in between, you don't really have to pay attention, because they got people that live, like they say they live closer to one school, but they gotta go to a whole different school that's further out. So pay attention to what's going on. If you don't want your kids to go to a certain school or whatever like that, go to these meetings. I'm pretty sure they have it, posted and everything like that, or anything. They actually go live stream. So if you can't make it there, you can always watch it from your phone and everything like that. But if you have any concerns, please raise your voice and speak your truth. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna finish drinking my Truly.
I had ginger ale. I'm not drinking any alcohol right now. So
usually I drink the hard stuff, but tonight I had to drink the Truly stuff because I had to talk about this brawl, and I got to be focused to talk about it.
Clear-headed.
I had to be clear-headed, and this is my first time drinking Truly, so my second time is my second time drinking this, so it's actually pretty cool. I'm taking a step back, trying different things. 2023, like I said, this platform, I'm trying new things. So if y'all have anything that I should try, y'all please let me know and I'll give it a try myself. Y'all can check out my reviews on some of the other drinks I've done on my channel. So y'all please check that out as well. Miss Monica, is there anything else that you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, they said you have to ask people 5 times to consider running for office. I have no plans to ever run for office. I ran twice, lost both times. But if you're the change that we need, don't let age, don't let finances stop you from running. Consider running for office. We have 3 school board positions that are going to be open. They're going to try to flip that school board to ultra conservatives because they want charter schools and they want to continue banning books. So get involved, start going to these meetings and consider run for office, run for office, run for office, run for office, run for office. Karen told me I had to ask 5 times. Consider running for office because you are qualified to run. Try to run for office. That's the last thing I have to say. And if I can be of any assistance, even though I've lost both elections, hit me up and I'll try my best to help you kind of navigate. They will come against you when you try to run, but you are qualified to run for office.
Real quick, are these charter schools going to have sports?
I've heard back and forth that they won't because they won't have transportation.
They ain't going to last long then.
Well, they're trying to, the whole point of charter schools, because it's Hillsdale, their curriculum, Google them when you have time. They're trying to resegregate. They want segregation. They want to create these silos of conservative Christian white supremacist values. And they were trying to put the school, I live off exit 11, okay? They were trying to put it in our neighborhood where there's 6 figures out here. You know, you have parents that have the ability and the flexibility to take their kids to this charter school. They are trying to defund public schools by creating charter schools. They were not going to follow any ADA guidelines. So pay attention to these charter schools. I think if you look at other schools and you look at Clarksville, Montgomery County school system, we have some good schools. There are people that try to drag them with any little incident that happens, but we have some good teachers. We have good administrators right here in Montgomery County. So you should not want that money to go to a religious charter schools where they think history started when they got here in 1776. Because the question I had was, what happened when Native Americans were here? Like, y'all just came and that's when America started? I mean, come on. So yeah, pay attention to the charter schools. There's a lot of negative things. Those teachers don't have to be certified to teach at charter schools. They don't have to have college degrees to teach at these charter schools. There is one school board rep. Y'all need to keep y'all eye on him. I won't say his name. He might try to sue me, but he ran an uncontested race. Pay attention. Don't let them run uncontested races. This is not China. You're not that good where you don't deserve an opponent. So no more uncontested races, and look at these charter schools because they wanted to put them out there. Oh, we're looking to help marginalized communities. Well, if you look at the map of Montgomery County, the marginalized communities are North Clarksville. I live exit 11, the county part. People that out here are doing pretty good. Yes, there's some pockets of poverty here, but they were trying to put a charter school in the county and even if you put your child on the city bus, well, the bus stops at Walmart on exit 11, Madison. So how is that kid going to get from Madison, exit 11 to the charter school way in the county where they're going to walk 5 miles to get to it? So pay attention. They're trying to defund public schools. Don't let them do it.
Well, there's a message right there. And besides, you know, if they were, I'm not going to be, I like public schools.
We have some great teachers and administrators here.
Yeah. I think socially, I think it's better as well.
Because you have different points of view. Like, I don't want people around me that agree with everything I say. So when you have these charter schools, you have white supremacy, white nationalism, points of view. Oh, the country started in 1776. The founding fathers were Christians. Okay, they were Christians and they also owned slaves. So, and only men that were landowners could vote. So I don't want to hear what your founding father said at all, because they're not my founding fathers. So there's that. I can go on and on about the charter school. So
definitely. Well, y'all, once again, y'all make sure y'all follow Drinking After Dark podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Hit that like button, subscribe to Drinking After Dark podcast YouTube channel. Until next time, for Monica Meeks, I'm Darius Bagwell from Drinking After Dark podcast, and we out. Peace.
Bye.
Gotta get to the money. Gotta get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. Gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and me. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money. Early morning, so you know that I'm on it. And gotta make sure that my family straight. Gotta make sure that the kids and they. Gotta make sure that the bills is paid. And then let's get to the money. Get to the money.